This is a special telescope image of the Sun in Lhasa. We can see the Sun in its truest form from here. As of 2021, the Sun has been burning for at least 460 billion years. The reason why the Sun can emit heat and light, this is all from nuclear fusion inside the Sun. To a certain extent, the Sun is a light slowly releasing energy. At the center of the Sun to 0.25 solar radius, it is the true source of the tremendous energy emitted by the Sun. Scientists call it the river flooding zone. Here at the core of the Sun, the temperature reaches 15 million degrees. Pressure is equivalent to 300 billion atmospheres, enough to easily destroy everything on Earth. Since the Sun became the main curvature, any reaction of four affinities converging into one sum is going on here at any moment. Estimate according to Einstein's intelligent transformation relationship, E is equal to the square of mc. At the core of the Sun, 600 million tons of hydrogen per second is heated and fused to 596 million tons of damage, and release the equivalent of 4 million tons of hydrogen. This represents more than 4 million tons of matter converted into energy every second at the core of the Sun, and produce neutrinos and solar radiation. So far, the Sun converts about 100 Earth masses of matter into energy. Although the amount of material lost is equivalent to 100 times that of the Earth. However, it is hardly worth mentioning for this massive Sun. According to current stellar models, the Sun was born about 468 billion years ago. He has about 51 years left to live. According to modern astronomical observations, the internal temperature of the Sun can reach 15 million degrees Celsius. What is the concept of 15 million degrees Celsius? The material with the highest melting point on Earth has a melting point of less than 5,000 degrees Celsius. This means that the Sun has always easily melted anything on Earth. So if so, the Sun is so hot, why didn't you melt yourself? And here's what we have to figure out. That's the physical form. The material form refers to the specific form and state of matter existence. Object and field are the two basic forms of matter caused by people. Fields are generally substances that exist in a continuous distribution in nature. Usually an attractive force, electromagnetic field, vacuum field, and various quantum fields. And food is a substance that exists in nature in a specific state of division. In our current perception of life, usually has a solid state, liquid and gas, known as the three states of matter. However, in addition to this most basic three states, objects have other forms, such as a plasma stage, supernatural state, super solid state, medium attitude, etc. And the Sun doesn't belong to this basic material tripeptide. That is to say, the Sun is not solid, not liquid, not even gaseous. It's a giant plasma. So what is an equidistant gesture? The dissociative attitude is often referred to as a supersaturated state. It has many similarities to gases. It does not determine the shape and volume, and it's fluid. Atoms are made up of nuclei and electrons. Under normal circumstances, electrons revolve around the nucleus. However, when the temperature reaches a certain level, that is, under high temperature conditions, gaseous atoms start to throw away their electrons. So the electron with the negative dot starts to wander freely, and the atoms become punctuated ions. The higher the temperature, the more electrons a gas atom sheds. This phenomenon is called gas ionization. Scientists call the electronized gas a plasma tire. Except for the high temperature, of course. With powerful ultraviolet light, X-rays and gamma rays to illuminate the gas. It can also turn the gas into a lamp ion stage. And the simple answer is this. Electrons in the atoms of matter are breaking away from the attraction of the nucleus and form a state in which negatively charged free electrons and positively charged ions coexist. At this point, the electron is accompanied by the electron nucleus from the bullet. But the numbers are equal. This state is called the plasma state. That's the definition of a plasma. It's not a physical form defined by the touch of our right hand or the sight of our eyes. It's the physical form defined by the internal structure of matter. Perhaps in our understanding, the plasma station keeps us very far away. In daily life, we hardly see the existence of plasma stations. But in fact, plasma stations are very common. Like the gas in a neon sign, aurora ionosphere in Earth's atmosphere. They all have plasma. And in the vastness of the universe, there's more plasma. A star like our sun is a giant plasma. Due to nuclear fusion, the temperature of the sun is very high. Under such high temperature and pressure conditions, electrons in the gas molecules that make up the sun easily escape the bonds of atomic nuclei. Become free electrons. Presents a mixed state of charged positive ions and free fetal negative electrons around the object. And that's what we call the plasma. Due to the fact that throughout the universe, stars make up a very large proportion of the matter. Therefore, the ancient books of scientists, almost 90% of the known matter in the universe is in a plasma fetus. So the cloud didn't melt away. This is because the morphology of the constituent matter changes to a plasma state. This form is also one of the physical forms. So there is no solid state. The difference between liquid and gas, not to mention melting. Our planet has never been truly safe. There's a lot of powerful energy going on throughout the universe. They could easily destroy the Earth. As 65 million years ago, an asteroid with a diameter of 10 kilometers hits the Earth, caused a tragic fifth mass extinction of life on Earth. The dinosaurs that ruled the Earth for 160 million years also perished in this event. And of course, there are explosions that are extremely sensitive. And that's a supernova. A supernova is one of those violent explosions that some predators experience when their evolutionary passions are in harmony. This explosion is extremely bright. Bursts of electromagnetic radiation in the process can often illuminate the entire information in which they are located, and the simple answer is this. When certain stars in the universe come to terms with their own life, it is possible that there will be an explosion of the giant field due to the massive mass and volume of stars, so their shock waves have the potential to bombard our planet over vast distances of hundreds of light years, ultimately causing a devastating impact on life on our planet. And this is not alarmist. 640 light-years away from Earth, there is an extremely dangerous ticking time bomb. That's Hill Temple. Rustavy is Rustavy, also known as Orion Alpha Coefficient Type. It's a red supergiant belonging to the constellation Orion. He is the 12th star outside the Sun in the starry sky of the Earth. Shangxiu Temple is currently in the red supergiant stage. so his volume has expanded to an unimaginable size. If the Temple of Rust were placed in the center of the solar system, then its surface would extend beyond the asteroid belt and may reach and exceed Jupiter's orbit and completely sweep away Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Because the Rust Temple is too far away from us. Plus, the mention of Shan-Shusi has been changing. This allows scientists on Earth to... It is almost impossible to accurately estimate the exact size and quality of Shengshu Temple. However, it is certain that Shengshu Temple is likely to explode soon. It is even possible that there has been an explosion in Shengshu Temple. So did the Rust Temple explode? Once he does explode, will it destroy our planet? Since the first discovery of Shengshu Temple in 1920, scientists have always been fascinated by him. In 2019, scientists discovered that the brightness of Shengshu Temple began to change. Some people believe that a big explosion will soon be seen at Shengshu Temple. Until 2020, furniture accompanied by changes in the brightness of Shengshu Temple. Some scientists believe that the red supergiant may have exploded. However, in subsequent observations, scientists have found that the brightness of Shengshu silk is slowly increasing. This means that Shengshu silk did not explode. Scientists estimate that Shengshu Temple will explode in about 1 million years. Then once Shengshu Temple really explodes, how will it affect us? According to current scientific knowledge, a long-range super-explosion is unlikely to bring any devastating consequences to Earth. Because of the tiny particles released by super-explosions, neutrinos are harmful to human diseases. When a star explodes, in the palm of your hand we observe a fish of particles called neutrinos. They will pass through the Earth. Even if a supernova explosion lights up our night sky, even 99% of the energy of the super-sucking star will be released into these days. But as these tiny particles pass through the Earth and our bodies, it won't do us any harm. At the same time, because Hill Temple is 640 light-years away from us. However, in the current scientific understanding, supernova explosions only affect the need for life within 10 kilometers of them. Therefore, our planet is far from the dangerous distance of Deep Globe Temple. Of course, there are still some people who are worried. If the direction of the gamma-ray burst produced by the Deep Ball Temple explosion is precisely aimed at the Earth, it is possible to destroy the Earth's biosphere. However, there is no need to worry, because Shengshu Temple is a red supergiant. It has a thick, clear cladding. This means that if Shengshu Temple explodes, then the jet from its explosion will be engulfed by the clear cladding. At the same time, Shin-Su-Si is a red superstar, and the breakout radiation from the red supergiant cannot be gamma rays. Only ultraviolet and visible light. They can't hurt the Earth either. Therefore, even if the application temple does explode, there is no danger to our planet. At present, scientists believe that Shengshu Temple is very likely to have these two endings. First, it will be a very dense neutron star after the Big Bang. Another thinks it will turn into a black hole 8 times the size of the Sun after the Big Bang. Once the Rust Temple explodes, then in about 640 years we will be able to see an extremely bright staircase on Earth. His brightness is likely to match the brightness of the moon seen on Earth. and it darkens rapidly over the following weeks. This means that the current rusty temple may have exploded. Just because of the distance of more than 640 light years, so that it would take us more than 640 years to actually see the splendor of its explosion. And of course, out in the vastness of space, our Earth is too small. There are forces powerful enough to make our planet disappear completely. However, our planet is lucky enough. Our mother, the sun, leads us to live on the outskirts of our solar system, far from the center of the galaxy and sparsely populated. The nearest rampage is also 4.22 light years away. That leaves us very little affected by other pandemics. And we have more to worry about asteroids that regularly fly by. They hit the Earth at high speed and caused more damage than we can imagine. And in the future, if there is a time enough to destroy the Earth, then we humans will truly perish. Periodic mass extinctions of life occur on Earth. What's the secret behind this? The results of modern scientific investigation show that, in the long evolutionary history of life on Earth, there have been at least 5 mass extinctions of life in the world. 440 million years ago, a supernova explosion caused a gamma shooting storm on the surface of the Earth, destroyed half of the Earth's ozone layer. The disappearance of the ozone layer allows radiation from the sun to be implanted in the Earth's surface. It killed a lot of life on the surface and offshore. The food face was completely destroyed and caused a global famine. Large numbers of living things cannot adapt to changes in their living environment and perish. In the world of death, about 85% of all species on Earth are extinct. History calls the first mass extinction of life, 370 million sheep, for unknown reasons, caused a major change in the Earth's climate. Large-scale volcanic eruptions, sea level decline. The oxygen content of seawater is greatly reduced. The mysterious Earth has once again entered the period of great fire. The disaster lasted nearly 2 million years. 75% of life on Earth went extinct in 2 million years. History calls it the second mass extinction of life. 250 million years ago, nitrogen was released by a meteorite impact, a temporary volcanic eruption, or a sea worm emergency. Causes of methane hydrate caused tremendous changes in the Earth's ecological environment. There is a serious imbalance between sea temperature and salinity. A large number of marine animals became extinct as a result, according to the inspirational investigation of scientists and the discovery of fossils. This jazz festival is responsible for about 70% of the fleshy cervical vertebrates on the planet, and up to 96% of marine life snacks. This is also the only time that the insect dami has killed snow. About 57% of the world's rats can digest 83% of the rats. After the extinction of the world, it took millions of years for both the terrestrial and marine ecosystems to fully recover. Longer than the recovery time of other large extinction worlds. It was the largest of the 5th known mass extinction events on Earth. Therefore, it is officially known as the Great Death or Mass Extinction. History calls it the 3rd mass extinction of life. 2960 million years ago, for unknown reasons, shocking Triassic-Jurassic extinction event erupted on Earth. This extinction event took place before the breakup of Earth's ancient continents. The cause of this mass extinction is still unknown. There is evidence that it may have been caused by meteorite impacts and volcanic eruptions. and that led to widespread mercury poisoning of organisms in the biosphere. The extinction of the world led to at least 50% of the species being taught at that time. And that's why there are many gaps in the Earth's ecosystem. So the dinosaurs became the greatest foxes of the Jurassic period. The rise of the dinosaurs. 65 million years ago, an asteroid about 10 kilometers in diameter collided with Earth at an extremely high speed. For a moment, the waves of the Earth are huge. Earthquakes continue, volcanic accumulation eruptions. Volcanoes obscured the sky. An eruption of lava lashed the land, and a massive tsunami flooded the Tranquility Desert. The Earth's atmosphere is filled with toxic gases. Cold creatures perish as a result. And the dinosaurs that ruled the Earth for only 1 year after another also completely disappeared in the dead four worlds. The fifth mass extinction event in history. Mass extinctions are markers of organisms regardless of their place in the ecosystem. Can't escape disaster, and they often ate a lot of different groups of organisms and went extinct together. But there are always other groupings that are not difficult. Other groups were born or flourished. Looking at these 5 mass extinction events, we can see a very surprising pattern. That is, there will be a global mass extinction event at regular intervals. Since scientists have investigated geological conditions and fossils, after deducing the 5th mass extinction in the history of the Earth, countless scientists are seeking the truth behind the extinction of the world. Many scientists believe that the world has an inconspicuous cyclical image, and these cycles are somewhere between 62 and 70 million miles. So what is causing these periodic extinction events? Therefore, scientists have come up with several guesses. The first 2 core hypotheses. There are many star systems in the universe. It has multiple stars. That is a star, and this one can go to multiple and a half stars. Some scientists speculate that our sun also has a half-star. It's just that for some reason the star is obscured. We can't detect its existence. It is also because of the existence of this star, he sent countless comets and asteroids to Tai Chi. Increases the probability of an impact between the Earth and an asteroid, and that led to periodic extinction events on Earth. The second kind of solar system motion says our solar system is on the edge of the Milky Way. According to scientists' current observations, it takes about 250 million years for our solar system to orbit the galactic fountain. And as the solar system orbits the black hole at the center of the galaxy, periodically lent to regions of interstellar material accumulation in the galaxy's rotating disk. These celestial bodies may generate gravitational labor on the Oort cloud surrounding the solar system, deorbit some comets and move them towards the inner solar system. Ultimately lead to celestial object collision time. The third theory of the Earth itself. Some scientists believe that there is some kind of periodic activity in the interior of our planet. There will be a major earthquake tens of millions of years ago, and that led to a massive change in the environment. This caused a mass extinction of life on Earth. However, due to the short timescale of humans, so much so that it becomes very difficult for us to understand what happened tens or even hundreds of millions of years ago. Continue so far, the human species from Earth's periodic extinction events. Only the world interstellar yielding. Only by becoming a true second-level civilization can we have a chance to survive. Is the speed of light really fast? Light moves about 300,000 kilometers per second. The straight line distance from Beijing to Shanghai is approximately 1,080 kilometers. If a beam of light sets off from Beijing, then it only takes about 0.0036 seconds to reach Shanghai. So light can travel 138 times between Beijing and Shanghai in 1 second. For comparison, a commercial aircraft traveling at 900 kilometers per hour, it takes about an hour to get from Beijing to Shanghai. The high-speed rail takes about 5 hours. The circumference of the Earth's equator is about 40,000 kilometers. In other words, light can travel around the Earth about 7.5 times per second. The Moon is the only natural satellite of the Earth. It is about 380,000 kilometers from Earth. At the same time, the Moon is also the only extraterrestrial ladder that humans have landed on. Take Apollo 11 as an example. He was launched from Earth at 1332 on July 16, 1969, and successfully landed on the Moon at 2017 on July 20, 1969. Although Apollo 11 did not go with a straight line to cross the 380,000 kilometer between the Earth and the Moon. However, we can also roughly calculate the time it took for Apollo 11 to cross the 380,000 kilometers. It took about 103 hours. What about light? Light moves about 300,000 kilometers per second. The distance between the Earth and the Moon is 380,000 kilometers. That is to say, it only takes a little more than a second for light to cross this 380,000 kilometer distance between the Earth and the Moon. Apollo 11 was 103 hours. The difference between the two is about 290,000 cup. Good work is a new level of self for mankind in the 21st century. It is also the first probe designed specifically for scientific first belt celestial bodies. It was launched from Earth on January 19, 2006, and arrived at the destination on July 14, 2015. The lost star is a dwarf star located in Côte d'Or. It's about 6 billion kilometers away from us. The human mind is easy to talk about. It took about 9.5 years to cross 6 billion kilometers. And a beam of light starts from the Earth. Want to reach the confused type? It only takes about 5.5 hours. Voyager 1 is the farthest probe ever flown by humans. According to official data released by NASA, as of October 23, 2019, Voyager 1 is located 211 kilometers from the Sun. After Voyager 1 was launched from Earth on September 5, 1977, it took about 42 years to cross the distance of 21.10 billion kilometers. What about light? According to the calculation, it takes about 19.5 hours for light to fly over this 211 kilometer distance. That is to say, it only takes less than a day for light to cross the distance traveled by human beings in 42 years. And that's the power of light. It's very fast for humans. So is light really fast? When we zoom in to see the entire universe, the speed of light is almost a home. The solar system lives in a vast galaxy. Due to the fact that the solar system is far from the center of the galaxy, stars are scarce here. The closest star to us is called Proxima. It's about 4.22 light years away. That is to say, a beam of light starts from the Sun. It takes about 4.22 years to reach Proxima Centauri. The Sun is about 6,000 kilometers from the center of the galaxy, so it takes about 26,000 years for a beam of light from the Sun to reach the center of the galaxy. This represents the center of the Milky Way, as we see it from Earth. Just how it looked 26,000 years ago. Because his light takes 26,000 years to reach our planet. And our galaxy is a vast body of information, 120,000 light-years in diameter. This means that we want to cross from one end of the galaxy to the other. Even at the speed of light, it will take 120,000 years. Within the local group of galaxies, the Milky Way and Andromeda are the two largest galaxies. And what you're looking at here is an actual picture of the Andromeda galaxy. It's more than 250 million light-years away. This represents a beam of light sets off from the Earth. To reach the Andromeda pedestal, at least 2.50 million years. That is to say, the Andromeda message you're looking at here, it's actually the Andromeda message 2.50 million years ago. The light they emitted 250 million years ago took 250 million years to reach our planet. And was captured by the Hubble telescope. And Andromeda and the Milky Way are just two of the most common galaxies in the universe. In the observable universe, no one knows for sure how many galaxies there are. It could be hundreds of thousands, millions, or even tens of billions of galaxies. These galaxies are tens of millions of light-years away. Some are tens of billions of light-years away. That is to say, even if we move to these distant galactic regions at the speed of light, it will take tens of millions or even tens of billions of years. However, what is even more desperate is that the speed of light is nowhere near the expansion rate of the universe. This means that light from farther away cannot reach our planet. We will never be able to see the light of those farther regions. Our vision is trapped in a world centered on the Earth. In a spherical universe with a radius 46.50 billion light-years. Scientists call it the observable universe. But despair never ends. Back to the world as we know it. The great scientist Albert Einstein told us, the speed of light is the ultimate speed in the entire universe. Nothing with mass can travel at the speed of light. If Einstein was right. So what that means is that we're never going to be able to go faster than the speed of light, no matter how fast we go. Because something like this breaks the speed of light, violating the so-called laws of the universe. We can only approach the speed of light infinitely, but can't reach 10,000 steps back. Even if we could reach the speed of light, in the vastness of the universe today, we can't even fly out of the Milky Way galaxy. What's more, this incomparably grand universe, and that's the speed of light. He is fast and slow. With the profound powerlessness and fear we humans feel, how likely are humans to find aliens? Will we see aliens in our lifetime? Want to understand this issue? We must know what aliens are. Of all the people currently, aliens are different from extraterrestrial life. Aliens should be extraterrestrial intelligent life like humans, rather than a simple life. Therefore, in the eyes of most people, aliens should be a civilization with its own written race. There are even intelligent creatures with higher technology than humans. This will fit our understanding of aliens. Now let's calculate the probability of aliens appearing in the universe. So how do you calculate the probability of extraterrestrial intelligent life in the universe? Because the universe is so vast, there are billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of pieces of information throughout the universe. And galaxies travel millions or even tens of millions of light years apart. So even if those distant galaxies have alien life, it is also very difficult to contact us. So we only calculate the probability of extraterrestrial intelligent life that we may touch in the Ujo area. And this region of the universe is the Milky Way galaxy where we live. The Milky Way is 120,000 light years in diameter. Huge amount of information, 200 billion to 400 billion stars in it. So if nothing else, we are now, and in the next tens of thousands of years, all the so-called extraterrestrial intelligent natives, most likely in the Milky Way. So how to calculate the possible existence of extraterrestrial intelligent life in the Milky Way? Here we must introduce a famous offensive, the Drake offensive. Drake offensive, aka Drake equation. Sagan offensive. Drake consensus. It was created by American astronomer Frank Drake, a law proposed in Greenwich in the 1960s. A formula for predicting the number of intelligent civilizations in the Milky Way that may come into contact with us. Carl Sagan, an astronomer at Cornell University, was also involved in studying the equations, and a lot of description is carried out in the work. There are two in this formula. Here we will introduce only one of them in detail. This formula is n equals n. G by Fp by Ne by Fl by Fi by Fc by L. Wherein represents the number of intelligent civilizations in the Milky Way that may communicate with us. Ng represents the number of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. P is the percentage of stars with planets. Ni is the number of inner planets in each galaxy. Fl is the percentage of habitable planets that have evolved life. Fi is the probability that life will evolve into something better. C stands for the probability of high-quality life capable of interstellar communication. L represents the proportion of the duration of technological civilization in the sunny life cycle. So we translate the whole formula to be inside the galaxy. The number of civilizations that might be communicating with us is the same as the number of stars in our galaxy. The percentage of stars that are said to have planets, the number of inner planets in each galaxy, proportion of planets said to have evolved habitable, the probability of evolving high-quality organisms, the probability that high-quality life will be able to communicate, take advantage of the duration of technological civilization as a proportion of a planet's life cycle. Although this formula is scientific to a certain extent, however, it is regrettable that, due to the limitations of human technological level, some of the items in it do not have a relatively accurate value. The number of stars in the Milky Way. Right now, we can only go through optics here on Earth. Radio and other telescopes observe the Milky Way. However, due to the limitations of our location and the technical means, makes it nearly impossible for us to really figure out how many stars our galaxy has. Proportion of planets habitable for life to evolve in BFL. So far, we've only found life on Earth. We haven't found anything on other planets where there's life. So FL is also an unknown. And of course, the probability that life will evolve into something better, and the probability of high-quality raw rice capable of star communication. Due to the lack of sufficient samples, so that these probabilities cannot have a relatively accurate value. All the probability of intelligent life in the galaxy is just a guess. Someone once used Minister Drake to make a rough calculation of the intelligent civilization in the galaxy. It has been calculated that there are at least 40 advanced technological civilizations in the galaxy. Up to 50 million. So the number of possible aliens in our galaxy is between 40 and 50 million. Of course, there are some people. Other calculations suggest that there are about 530,000 civilizations in the Milky Way. There are an average of 18 high-tech civilizations for every 1 million stars in the Milky Way alone. However, this is all speculation. No one knows how many intelligent life there are in the galaxy. So how can we find so-called aliens? The first type of direct contact. The best way to find aliens is to go to a planet with aliens. However, according to the current human spaceflight capabilities, it is not realistic. So far, no other mysterious planet other than Earth has been found within our solar system. Therefore, humans should be the only intelligent life in the solar system. And the nearest star to us is 42 to 200 light-years away. According to the farthest probe currently flown by humans, Operator 1, it would take tens of thousands of years to get there. The second type of signal contact. At present, in order for human beings to contact the civilization that may exist in the universe with advanced intelligent life, so-called contact signals have been sent out of the Earth many times. It has also allowed interstellar probes to carry long films of information about human civilization. However, all the signals and even the interstellar probes were lost. We don't get any intelligent life response. Therefore, according to the current scientific means of human beings, finding aliens is an almost impossible task. And the only possibility is a highly developed alien civilization. If we find out in advance, we will take the initiative to contact us. However, this situation may not be a good thing for humans. To be able to find our Earth in the vast universe and get in touch with us. The outer life is definitely more powerful than our civilization on Earth. And higher civilizations are probably not friendly to lower civilizations. Earth could also become a cosmic colony for intelligent life in these shapes. However, despite this, because humans are too lonely, scientists have been trying to find other life in the universe.